Good evening Shraddha, good evening Sadesh, good evening Lahu, good evening everyone. Good evening Shraddha Subudhi. Good evening Shagun, good evening Madhulika, good evening everyone. Is the screen visible to everyone? Okay Madhulika. Okay, so yesterday we understood what a FASTQ file is and we learned some basic Linux commands. But we haven't actually really worked with a real FASTQ file. So what are we going to do today? We will be using NCBI SRA. So what is NCBI SRA? It is a public database where scientists upload row sequencing data. So are we familiar with the term row sequencing data from the yesterday lecture? So what is row sequencing data? The output of the NGS machines, all the reads. So scientists, they upload the row sequencing data on this public database NCBI SRA. So NCBI stands for National Center for Biotechnology Information and SRA stands for Sequence Read Archive. So what happens is that researchers, they do the experiments, they perform the experiments using the NGS machine, they generate the FASTQ data and they upload it on the NCBI SRA. So what are we going to do? We are going to open the NCBI SRA and we are going to download that FASTQ file that researchers has uploaded on this NCBI SRA, and then we are going to use that FASTQ file. So let's open Google. Here we are going to search for NCBI, press enter. Now this is NCBI, National Center for Biotechnology Information. Let's click on it. So this is NCBI. Okay, it is a public database. Now inside the NCBI, where do we want to go? We want to go inside the SRA database because that is the database where all the row sequencing data is uploaded. So here we have the section here, all databases. We will select this. Now inside this we can see these are all the databases and we want to specifically go inside the SRA database. So here we will select the SRA database. Now here we are going to search for E. coli. So we are going to download a FASTQ file, an experiment which has done on E. coli. So we are going to download the FASTQ file of an E. coli experiment. Now let's click on search. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so these are all the search results of the E. coli. All the data that we are seeing here is from the SRA database. Okay, and here we have to select for a specific data set, a specific FASTQ file. Because we are practicing here, we are learning here, so we want to download a FASTQ file which is small in size so that it doesn't take much time for the analysis. Okay, so first of all, what I am going to do on the left side, Here on the left side, these are all the filters. So I am going to apply for some specific filters here. So the first filter that I'm going to apply here is single. Let me zoom in. So inside this library layout, here we are seeing two sections. One is single and one is paired. So now what is this single and what is this paired? So this is called single end data, and here if I select this filter, we will be seeing paired end data. So first of all, let's select on single end data and then we will explain it. So here we have selected for single end data. Now what is single end data? Let's open any sequence. Okay, so from here, let's open any sequence from any diagram. Let's open this. So here, for example, we have this sequence. We already understand that we give input of the DNA fragments to the NGS machine, and in return, what NGS machine gives us as an output? It gives us raw sequencing data, the exact sequence of ATGC. Okay, so now we understand the term sequencing. Okay, from yesterday lecture, we understand the term sequencing. What is sequencing? To read the DNA. So imagine that we have this one DNA fragment. Now sequencing means that we are reading this DNA fragment, correct? But the question is that from how many sides are we reading this DNA fragment? Means this NGS machine from how many sides is reading this DNA fragment. So basically, if we read this fragment from one side only, means from left to right. So means we start from one end and we go to till the another end and we read it from left to right. Means we are reading this DNA fragment in only in one direction from left to right. So this is called single end sequencing. What is it called? It is called single end sequencing. Now what does pair end sequencing means? That we read the same DNA fragment from both sides, from left to right as well and from right to left as well. So what is going to happen in single end sequencing? We are going to get one read because we are reading it only from one side. In pair end sequencing, we are going to get two reads of that DNA fragment because we are reading it from left to right as well and from right to left as well. Okay, so basically if you imagine that if we are reading a DNA fragment only from one side, means we will have less information. But if we are reading this DNA fragment from both sides, means we will have more information. The more information we'll have, the more data we will have to find out the mutations, correct? Means paired end sequencing is good. To work with the pair end data is good, but we are going to work with the single end data. So why are we going to work with the single end data? Because for simplicity. Okay, for now we are just beginning, we are at a beginner level, so we are going to work with the single end data. So that's why here I have applied for the filter single end data. Now the another filter that I'm going to apply here is the platform. That from which platform do I want the FASTQ file? So I want the FASTQ file from the Illumina platform. So let's select this platform, Illumina. So here we can see that the Illumina filter has been applied. So why did we select Illumina? Because Illumina here, it is most widely used sequencing technology and it provides high quality data, and it works really well with the standard bioinformatics tools. So that is why we have selected the platform Illumina. And the third filter that I'm going to apply here is the genome. So here genome means whole genome sequencing. So we select the genome here because we want to analyze the full DNA sequence, because at the end we want to identify the variants across the entire genome. So that is why we want to analyze a data which is from whole genome sequencing. So let's select this. Now let's zoom out a bit. So here, the search result that it is showing us is from these applied filters. And all of this data, here we can see we applied the Illumina platform. So this is all the data is from Illumina platform. We applied for single end data. So all the search result we are seeing here is from the single end data. Now, from these search results, we have to select a specific file that we can work with. So first of all, let's see the download size. So this is the first data that we are seeing. Its download file size is 233 MB. Its size is 192 MB. Its size is 89 MB. So if we scroll down, its size is 559 MB. So they are very small in size. The files are very small in size. So these files can even go up to 2 GB or 10 GB as well. So here we are seeing some very low files. So as we can see that the file size is very low, means we can select any file we like, right? But here we have to look for something else as well. So first of all, let's apply our own filters. Here this size is 233, this size is 192 MB, means it will take less time to download. And here this size is 89 MB, means it will take less time to download. Right, so if you think that its file size is only 89 MB, so I will go with this file. No, we have to look for something else as well. Here, we have to look for sports. What is it written here? Sports. So these are the two files that we are seeing very low in size. So here, the sports here are around 1 lakh, and here the sports are 1.6 million. Now what are these sports? The reads. Yesterday we understood about reads. What are the reads? The small DNA fragments. So here those reads are called sports here. Means in this data the reads are only around 1 lakh, and here in this data the reads are around 1.6 million. Means in this data it contains 1.6 million reads. So the more reads we have, the more time it will take to analyze the data. So here, should we go with this file because it contains less reads. Now let's zoom in. Okay, so now we are clearly seeing this data set. Now let's see, it is written WGS of E. coli, means whole genome sequencing of E. coli. So here it says WGS, means it contains the complete DNA sequence that we need for variant calling. So here we can select this data set, we can download the FASTQ file of this data set and we can work with it easily. So here again, let's look here. Illumina is written here, means the platform is Illumina. So Illumina produces high quality reads. The error rate is very low from the Illumina platform. So this means that the results are very reliable from the Illumina platform. Here next it is written next sequence 2000, means it is the machine, it is the exact NGS machine that was used to download, to produce the output of the FASTQ file of this data set. Okay, and here we have already understood about the sports, means it contains around 1 lakh read. Now one more thing to look here is the accession number. Now what is this accession number? So each and every data set in NCBI, every data set, they contain a accession number. Here we can see accession number is written, here accession number, here accession number. All the data set that are uploaded on the NCBI, they all contain accession number. So what is this accession number? It is actually a unique ID. So every data set has this unique ID which we call accession number. So for example, if we want to search specifically for this data set, and if we have the accession number of this data set, so what can we do? Let's copy this accession number. Let's open the NCBI SRA again. So here search for NCBI SRA. So here I am directly searching for NCBI SRA. Press enter. Select this. Now here let's paste the accession number that we just copied. So this is the accession number we have. So this means that if we want to search for a specific data set, we can just search for the accession number. Now let's click on search. So here we can see whole genome sequence of E. coli. So this is the accession number of this specific data set. So accession number is very important. Now one more thing to look here is that in the accession number it is written SRX. Now what do we understand by SRX in this accession number? So this is called experiment ID. So what do we have to do? We need a FASTQ file. But here this accession number is saying that this is an experiment ID. Means when I'm going to click on this data set, we will actually see all the experiment information of this data. So let's click on this. Let's zoom out. So here what are we seeing? We are seeing all the experiment information of this data, whole genome sequencing of E. coli. So here we can see design is written, it is written submitted by the University of California, it is all the study, this is the sample, the organism is Escherichia coli, and here we have all the information, all the experiment information that was done on this data set. So SRX means experiment ID. But what do we actually need? We actually need the FASTQ file. So here we are seeing another accession number, that is SRR. So SRR specifically means the FASTQ file. Okay, if we are seeing SRX, it is the experiment ID. If we are seeing SRR, it is the FASTQ file accession ID. Okay, so this is the actual file that we need to download. So let's click here. Now we have to download this FASTQ file, so we will select on this, but before, let's read what it is written here. This here, it is written that this run has one read per spot, means it is a single end data. If this data was a paired end data, so here it would have been written that this run has 2 read per spot. And why 2 read? Because we are reading the DNA fragments from both sides, that is why we have 2 read per spot. So this is a single end data, that is why it is written here that this run has 1 read per spot. So we have to download this FASTQ file. So let's click here. Now here make sure that this here is selected. Okay, it is already selected by default, but if you are trying to download it, so make sure that it is already selected. So we have selected this data set. Now here we do not have to get confused between FASTA and a FASTQ file. Here we have to actually get the FASTQ file. Okay, we already understand what a FASTQ file is. A FASTQ file contains all the DNA sequences along with the quality scores, but a FASTA file only contains the DNA sequence. So we actually have to get the FASTQ file. So let's click on FASTQ. Now here we are seeing that the file has started to download. So I have already downloaded this file for you so that we don't have much time to waste. So you have to let this download complete and you have to download this FASTQ file. Okay, so do we have any confusion how to download a FASTQ file? Do we understand the steps how to download the FASTQ file? Yes, Siddhesh. Yes, Siddhesh, you are correct. Because in the parent data, we will be reading the same DNA fragments 2 times from 2 different directions. Means we will have more data, means the NGS machine will have more confidence about the bases. Okay. But for simplicity, we are working with the single end data. Okay, Siddhesh? Akshita, what do you want me to explain? Akshita, is there any specific thing? How to select the FASTQ? Okay, let's open the NCBI again. So here, Akshita, we will, here, let's select for NCBI. Here, this is the website of the NCBI. Let's select it. So here, this is the NCBI, and from NCBI, we have to specifically go to the SRA database, because here SRA database is the database where all the raw sequencing data is uploaded. Okay, here you can see protein database. Here, let's see, here it is genome database. Okay, so SRA database is the specific database where all the row sequencing data, we understand the term row sequencing data, the output of the NGS machines. So here we will select the SRA. Here we will search for anything. So I searched for E. coli because E. coli is very simple. That is why I searched for E. coli, that I want to download the FASTQ file from E. coli. So here we will click on search. Here we have applied some filters. We have applied the filter of Illumina because Illumina is the platform which produces good quality data. That is why it is widely used. That is why we selected for the platform Illumina. So these are all the filters. And here, do we understand the term single end sequencing and paired end sequencing? So here we selected for single end sequencing and we selected for the genome filter. Genome means whole genome sequencing, means the entire DNA. Okay, because we are going to do the variant polling. So for that we need the entire genome. So here we selected for the genome, and here these are all the search results. So first of all, we want a file which is slow, which is very less in size. So here we are seeing all the file size. So here we saw two file sizes. This is 192 MB and this is 89 MB. So here we see that this file size is very low compared to this one, but we also have to see for the sports, means all the reads. Do we understand the term read? All the DNA fragments. So this data contain 1 lakh reads, 1 lakh 10,000 something, and this data contain 1.6 million reads. So we already understand that 1.6 million is a very big word. So that is why we went for this data set. Okay, Akshita? Paras, we don't need a software. I will just teach you right now. Okay. Akshita, is it clear? Okay, so let's open the file explorer because our downloaded FASTQ file will be there. So here we have our FASTQ file that we just downloaded from the NCBI database. Okay. So first of all, let's understand this FASTQ file. Here we are seeing that it is written compressed archive folder. Okay, now what do we understand compressed archive folder? Here we already seen folders, that folders are very simple, but there is some zip like structure on this file, means it is a compressed file. So compressed file means .gz. Here it is written .fasta, means a compressed file have a .gz extension at the end. Even though it is not written here .gz at the end, but it is, we can still see it is a compressed archive folder, means this file is compressed. So even if you see compressed archive folder or if you see .gz at the end, it means it is a compressed file. Okay, so why do we have these FASTQ files in compressed format? Because we understand that a FASTQ file contains millions of read, means the file is very big. So we need to compress this file so that we have a very smaller, a packed version of a large file, so that we can save the space and we can download it faster. Okay, so FASTQ files are in the compressed format because they are very large. They contain DNA sequences, millions of DNA sequences. If we have millions of DNA sequences, we will have millions of quality scores. Each base has its own quality score and we will have millions of reads. Okay, so what are we going to do? We are going to uncompress it. So I can also say that it is a compressed file, and I can also say that it is a zipped file. So if I say compressed or if I say zipped, it's the same meaning. So now what are we going to do? We are going to uncompress it. We are going to unzip it. But there is a very important thing that you need to know, that you do not always need to unzip it. Okay, there is no need to always unzip a FASTQ file, okay, or uncompress it. So the tools that we are going to work with, the FastQC, the BWA, the Trimomatic, so these are the tools we are going to work with. So what are these? These are bioinformatics tools. So these tools work really well with the .gz file, means compressed file. But still we are going to learn, still we are going to unzip it. But you need to know that there is not always a need to unzip it. Okay. So first of all, select this file, click on right click, and here we are going to click on extract all. So click on extract all. Here we will extract it. Click on extract. Now here we can see this is our FASTQ file. Let me cross it. So now this is the folder. Can you see the difference? This was a compressed file, it was a zip file, it is a .gz file, but now this is uncompressed. Okay, this file is not compressed anymore. So what are we going to do? We are going to cut this file from here and we are going to move it inside our Ubuntu. Let's go to home. Let's go to our working directory. So this is the folder that we created yesterday. Let's open it. And here, let's paste it here. So what we did, we moved the file to our working directory that we are going to work with it in the terminal. Okay, so are we clear? Is there any question? Paras, Nikita, your network might be a problem. Okay. Akshaya, there is no need. You just simply have to click on the FASTQ and it will start downloading. Okay. Madhulika, search for the extract option. Here, what we did. Okay, for now, please don't work with me right now. Just see and understand. You will have the recording. Work with the recording. Okay. For now, just understand how are we working. We will clear all the doubts if something is not working. But for now, understand what I am doing and work with the recording. Okay. So, Madhulika, search for the extract option, but please do not do it right now. Okay. So what we did, we extracted the file because we wanted to learn. That is why we extracted the file, but there was actually no need to unzip it, to uncompress it. Okay. So we moved the file to our folder. Now what are we going to do? We are going to open our Ubuntu. Let's open it. This is our terminal. So the first command that we are going to write is the same command that we worked with yesterday. So I'm going to write pwd to see that where I am in the system. Now let's press enter. So we are inside this directory, but where do we want to go? We want to go inside this directory. So let's write the command cd, means change directory, and we will write the name of our folder ngs. So let's write NGS, press enter. So now we can see that we are now inside this NGS folder, this NGS directory. So let's write the command ls to see all the folders inside this directory. So now we can see that we have this folder, we have this folder that we just created yesterday, and we have this folder. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to rename it. Okay, we already have this FASTQ file inside this folder. So let's just rename the folder. Okay, I'm going to name it FASTQ folder. Okay, so I have just renamed it. Now let's write the command ls. So this is the folder, FASTQ folder. Now what are we going to do? We are going to go inside this folder. So again, we are going to change our directory. So let's change the directory cd and write the name of the folder, the directory that we want to go inside. Press enter. So now we are inside this folder. Now inside this folder, we have our FASTQ file. Okay. Now let's write the command ls to see all the files inside this folder. Press enter. So now what are we seeing? We are seeing our FASTQ file that we just downloaded. So this is the FASTQ file. And we are seeing one more file as well, which is written zone identifier. So here we can see these two files. These are the two files. This is the FASTQ file and this that we downloaded from the NCBI SRA. And this is some another file. It is zone identifier file. Now, what is this file? So this is not a biological file. Okay, this file, it is not a biological data. This file is just created by the Windows. So when you download a file from the internet, so what Windows does, it attaches a hidden metadata file. So what is it? It is a metadata file. So this file just came from the internet. So this file contains all the download source like internet, the security zone, or whether this file can be trusted or not. So this file is basically a security tag and it is not a biological data. So here this file have zero use in bioinformatics. We have no use of this file. So what can we do? We can either ignore this file or we can delete this file as well. It is your choice. So this is the actual file that we are going to work with. Okay. So what are we going to do? We are going to open our FASTQ file and we are going to see what a FASTQ file looks like that we yesterday understand in the diagram. So yesterday we learned a command cat, right? Yesterday we learned a command cat. So what was this command? What does this command do? This command shows the entire content of the file. But we already know that this file contains around 1 lakh reads. What does this file contain? This FASTQ file contains 1 lakh reads. So this means if I use the cat command, this will print the entire data of this file. So we already know that a single read contains 4 lines, right? So means all the reads are the same, all the reads contain the same format, the 4 lines. So what do we need to do? We just need to see how a FASTQ file looks like. We do not need to see the entire file. We just need to see some few lines. So instead of writing the cat command, here I'm going to write a new command which is head. Okay, so instead of writing the cat command, because it will print me the entire data of this file and the entire data will get printed on my terminal, so it can be a little bit of a mess. So here I'm going to use the head command. So now what does this head command going to do? It will only show me a few lines of this file. Okay, so this head command will not show me the entire file. It will only show me a few lines of this file. So let's copy the file name. Let's write the file name here. Now press enter. So here we can see that here is the command that we wrote. So this is the data, a few lines from this file, and this is the end. So what are we seeing here? We are seeing a few lines from our FASTQ file. So if we have used the cat command, it will be a long data inside our terminal, which we do not want because all the reads look the same. Okay. So here, now what are we seeing here? We are seeing the reads. So yesterday we understood the format that in a read it contains 4 lines. So the first line, it starts with a at the rate. Here we can see the at the rate, that the read starts with the at the rate. And here after at the rate, what is it written? After at the rate, we have the run ID, we have the sequence ID. So this is the run ID, we can also say it. So after this run ID, we can also say it unique ID as well. So after this, we have this 1. Now what does this 1 represent? That it is read number 1. So let's look for another at the rate. So here it is, another at the rate. Here we are seeing 2, means it is read number 2. So let's look for another at the rate. Here it is another at the rate. So means this is the starting of the third read, and here it is number 3, means it is third read. So we are not fully seeing the third read, we are fully seeing the first read and the second read, but we are not fully seeing the third read because we use the head command, so it is only showing us the few lines. Okay, so here let's come back to the first read. This is the starting of the first read at the rate, then the run ID. Number 1 represent that it is the read number 1, and here we have something else as well. Now what is this? Here it is also called the unique ID. What is it? It is also a unique ID. but we have no use of this. We can simply ignore this. But what is it actually? It is just a random ID, so it helps us uniquely identify this read. If internally we want to look specifically for this read, so this is the unique ID for this read. Here we can see this is our read number 2, this is the at the rate, this is read number 2, and this is the unique ID, the specific unique ID for this read. Okay, so we can safely ignore this. This is just a random ID for this specific read. Okay, now at the end we have the length. Now what does this length represent? The number of bases. So here this is our read 1, means this is our DNA sequence. So the length of this read, the length of this DNA sequence is 527. So yesterday we learned that a single read has 4 lines. So this is line number 1. This is line number 2. Line number 2 contains the DNA sequences. In the line number 3, we have the plus sign. The plus sign, what is it called? It is called the separator. So here, this is the same unique ID. This is the same unique ID for this specific read. Now, again, we have this length. So this length is same as this length, but this length is of this DNA sequence, and this length is of these quality score. So what we learned yesterday, that a read has quality score. So each base has its own quality score. So we learned yesterday that the length of the quality score should be equal to the length of the read, because each base has its own quality score. So if the length of the read is 527, means the length of the DNA sequence is 527, it should also mean that the length of the quality score should also be 527. Okay, so this is our first read, from at the rate till the quality scores. Now here similarly, this is our second read, from at the rate here till the quality scores. And here this is our third read. It is incomplete because we use the head command. So are we clear how to read the FASTQ file? Because we are not going to read it. Okay, we are simply learning how the reads are stored inside a FASTQ file. So all the work will be done by the tools, but we are just understanding how a FASTQ file looks like. So are we clear with this, the FASTQ file? Is there any question regarding the FASTQ file? Yes, Paras, what's the question? Siddesh, filter means that we want the data from these things specifically. For example, if you open a shopping website, you apply the filters, right? If you want, for example, you specifically want fruits, so you will apply the filter of the fruits. So the search result will show you all the fruits, right? In the same way, here we applied the filters. Okay, so here we applied the filters that I specifically want a FASTQ file from the Illumina platform. I want single end data, I don't want paired end data. So all the search result we are seeing here is all the single end data. And I want genome means the entire DNA sequence. So this is what filter means. Okay. Okay, Paras, I will explain you about the echo and cat command after the class. Okay. The head command does not give 4 reads. Listen to it carefully. Here, this head command, it does not give you 4 reads. It only shows you the starting of a few lines of your file. It can show you 10 lines, it can show you 20 lines. So, it only shows you few lines of a file. Okay, so that is why we are only seeing 3 reads, and here you can see this is the starting of the third read. Here we have the DNA sequence, but after this we are not seeing the plus sign, means the separator, and we are not seeing the quality scores of the third read. That is because The head command is only showing us few lines. Is it clear? Siddesh, do you automatically have that filter? Are you asking this? Paras, you might will have a network connection. Please check your connection. Siddesh, are you asking that we automatically have that filter? Siddesh, we get the FASTQ file from the SRA NCBI. If you want to ask besides that, you can use the terminal. If you don't want to download a FASTQ file from the NCBI SRA directly, you can use the terminal. But it will still get downloaded from the NCBI SRA because all the data is uploaded on the NCBI SRA, the NGS data. So if you do not want to directly download from here, you can use the commands. But it will still download you the file from the SRA. Okay. Okay, now look at here. Let's look at our first read again. So this is our first read. This is our DNA sequence. So here we are seeing the quality scores. And what are the quality scores? Means it tells us that how confident the NGS machine is about each base. So yesterday we learned about two characters. We learned about the character I and we learned about the character exclamation mark. So here we are seeing this character I. So let's see first line, second line, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's search for first line. This is second line, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 means G. So this base G has the quality score I. So now can we directly say that the NGS machine is very much confident about this base G, correct? But here you are seeing that the length of this DNA sequence is 527, means the length of the quality score is 527, and we have almost 1 lakh reads inside this FASTQ file. So we are not manually going to analyze each base. So yesterday I told you one example that if a patient has a mutation and we want to uh, tell him generate a personalized medicine for that patient. So for that patient, what we have to do first, we have to get the DNA sequence of that patient, right? So what we will do, we will take the patient sample, we will give the input to the NGS machine, and NGS machine will give us all this data. And what is the data? These reads, correct? Now, we already know that the NGS machine is not 100% perfect, means we cannot fully trust this sequence. So, if we cannot fully trust the sequence, means we don't know some bases can be wrong here. So, we will have the wrong mutation and we will suggest wrong personalized medicine, right? So, here in this file, we have 1 lakh reads. So, we cannot analyze each and every base manually. We cannot read these quality scores manually, so this is not the practical enough part. So that is where we are going to use the FastQC tool. So what does FastQC tool is going to do? It will going to check the quality of our sequencing data. So what is the sequencing data? This is the sequencing data. So what is our goal today? Our goal is to check the overall quality of this sequencing data, and that is where we are going to use the FastQC tool. So what FastQC tool will do? It will analyze this complete file for us and it will generate us a report which we can easily understand. So first of all, to install the FastQC tool, we have to first of all write the command here, sudo apt update. So here I have written a command sudo apt update. Now what does this command means? Here this sudo command. So its full form is actually super user do. Now why are we writing the sudo command? Because this command, it allows us to run commands as administrator. means it will temporarily make me an administrator. So for now, we are writing the commands. Okay, here we wrote the command pwd, here we wrote the command cd, here we wrote the command ls. So for now, we are working as a normal user. But now, what do we have to do? We have to install the FastQC. We have to install a software. So that's require a special type of permission. Okay, so that is why this sudo command, what it does, it temporarily gives us the full control as an admin, as a administrator, because some actions are restricted for safety, like installing the softwares or modifying the system files, or if we want to update the system. So these actions are restricted. So that is why we want the admin controls. So that is where we use the sudo command. And here I have written apt update. Now here, what does this apt means? It is a package manager tool inside Linux. It is already a tool inside Linux. So it helps us, this tool helps us to install any software, to update any software, or to remove any software. So if we want to work with the softwares, we will use this tool apt. And here update, it is a sub command of this tool apt. Okay, so by writing the command sudo apt update, we are not installing anything. By writing this command sudo apt update, we are not installing anything. What are we doing? We are actually refreshing the internet. So this command means that update all the list of the available software from the internet so that we can install the latest version. Okay, so before you install anything, what we do, we want to get the latest version, right? We want to avoid the outdated packages. We don't want to download or install the outdated packages. So that is why we first refresh the list. So this is what this command does. Okay, it refreshed the list. Now press enter. So here, let me write my password. Now press enter. So now it's working. It is refreshing all the list of the softwares so that we can download the latest version. Okay, so now it is done. We have refreshed the list. Now what do we want to do? We want to install the FastQC tool. So here, what are we going to do? We are going to write sudo apt. If we want to work with the softwares, we will write the tool apt, we will write the command apt. So sudo apt install FastQC. So by writing this command, we are installing the latest version of the FastQC. Now press enter. Okay, so here what are we seeing? We are seeing FastQC is already the newest version. So here I already have installed the FastQC tool in my system. I already have the FastQC software. So that is why it is showing me FastQC is already the newest version. So when you will run this command sudo apt update, sudo apt install FastQC, your FastQC will be installing for the first time. So here it will be shown that FastQC is installed. Okay, so now that we have the FastQC tool, what do we have to do? We have installed it. Now we will run it. We will use this tool. So we want to run this tool on our FastQ file. So let's write the tool name FastQC, and here let's copy our FastQ file. So this is our FastQ file name. Let's copy it. Now let's write here. So what are we doing here? We are using this tool on our FastQ file. Okay, now press enter. Let's wait for 2 minutes. Madhulika, I just told you that do not run the commands with me right now. We will solve all the errors that you will face, but for now just understand how are we working. Okay. Okay, so here what are we seeing? Analysis complete for this FastQ file. So what just happened? This FastQC tool, it just analyzed our complete file. Now what are FastQC file? Here FastQ file. What does this FastQ file contain? It contain all the reads, right? So this FastQC tool, what it does, it reads, it analyzes all the reads inside this FastQC file. It analyzes all the quality scores, and this FastQC tool has generated us a report. Now, where is that report? Let's check our folder. Let's refresh it. So here, these are the two files that the FastQC tool has generated. Now, here this file, here we can say it is a Chrome, it is a HTML document, means this file it runs on the internet. And this is another file that the FastQC tool has generated us. So first of all, let's take a look at this file. Let's open this file. Now, this is the file, okay? It is an HTML document. So here what are we seeing? We are seeing all the graph. What is it? It is a FastQC report. So the tool that we ran here, we used the tool FastQC tool upon our FastQ file. It analyzed our complete file and it has generated us the report in the form of graph. So here we are seeing all the graph, all the data. So this is the actual report, the FastQC report. Now the another file that we saw here, this file. Now what is this file? So this file, it is actually a raw result file. What is this file? It is actually a zip file. We can see the zip on this folder. It is a compressed file. So it is actually a raw result file. So this file, it contains all the data behind this report. So this is the actual FastQC report. So everything that was used to make this file contains all that data. Okay, this file contains all the text file, all the data that was used to make all the graph inside this report. Okay, so simply it is the backend data of this report. So for now, we do not need this file. We only need this file. This is our FastQC file. Okay, so let's open our FastQC file. Let me zoom in. So this is the actual report, and here it is the summary. We are seeing all the sections that the FastQC file has created for us. So here we are seeing some green tick. Here is the green tick. Here is the green tick. We are seeing a yellow exclamation mark in a circle. It is like orange. And here we are seeing red cross. Now, what does this mean? They have a very particular meaning. So if we see a green tick, it means that our data quality is very good here. Okay, if we see a green tick, means our data quality is good here. If we see an exclamation mark, means there is a warning, means there can be a slight variation. Okay, so it shows us the warning. So if we see a red cross, now here it shows us that there is a very serious problem here. So there is something wrong with our data in this section. Okay, so this is what these green tick, yellow exclamation mark and red cross mean. So are we clear till here? Krishna, this file show us the overall data. Okay, it does not tell you about each specific base. It tells you the overall data, overall quality of all the reads. Okay. Okay, so we have already completed the 1 hour. Now tell me, do you want to continue the class because it will take 1 hour to explain each and every section, or do we want to continue with this tomorrow? Because it is going to take 1 hour to actually understand the FastQC report and I want you a fresh mind to understand it. Okay, so we will continue tomorrow. We will understand how to understand all the sections of this FastQC report. So just let me give you an overview. So here we are seeing some basic statistics about our file. Here in this data, in this graph, we are seeing the overall quality of all our reads. Here we are seeing again the overall quality of our reads. So we will explain this in detail in tomorrow's session. Ahmed, how did we get FastQC report? This is what we learned today, Ahmed. How did we get the FastQC report? Watch the recording again, okay? I will upload the recording, watch the recording again, and then let me know if you understand. Nikita, we use the SRA toolkit if we want to download the large file. Okay, the file that we download today is very, it was only around 200 MB, I guess, right? And it has only 1 lakh reads. So the file is very small. But if we want to download a large file, so that is where we use the SRA toolkit. So for now, we are not working with the large data, we are working with the small data. Paras, share me the screenshot on WhatsApp. DM me the screenshot of the command that is not working. Okay, Madhulika, no problem. Just share me the screenshot. Okay, I will try to help you. Okay, share me the screenshot. Yes, Shraddha Subudhi, as we are working with this FastQ file today and we did not complete it today, so we will explain the FastQC report tomorrow, so it can take 8 days.